Meanwhile, moving on to another breaking news that's coming in, Prime Minister Modi has landed in Brunei. PM Modi is on a visit to Brunei and Singapore. He has now landed in Brunei. These are visuals on your screen of the Prime Minister who is on an official visit to Brunei. It's the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to the country and marks the 40 years of diplomatic ties between India and Brunei. PM Modi was invited by Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah of Brunei to further strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. The diplomatic ties between India and Brunei were established in 1984, now marking 40 years. I will be joined by my colleague Abhishek Kapoor on this. Meanwhile, visuals on your screen show the Prime Minister being welcomed by Sultan Bolkiah of Brunei. The Indian mission in Brunei was established on 18th May 1993, and now the two countries are marking 40 years since they established their diplomatic relations. I'm being joined by my colleague Abhishek Kapoor. Abhishek, please elaborate the significance of this visit.
Well, we are getting these pictures of our Prime Minister being received in Brunei Darussalam, and he was received by the Crown Prince. And we are seeing in the pictures a reception being given. Remember, Prime Minister happens to be the first leader from India visiting the state of Brunei. He was received by Crown Prince Haji Al-Muhtadee Billah. And, Brunei is a small kingdom state and sits at the tip of the South China Sea. And that's the geographical significance of the place. And the fact that for the first time since establishment of diplomatic relationship in last 40 years, an Indian Prime Minister is visiting essentially underscores the importance of Prime Minister Modi going there. This marks 40 years of India and Brunei Darussalam state establishing diplomatic relationships. In fact, Prime Minister has stressed upon Act East policy. Earlier it used to be called Look East policy. In fact, 2024 marks 10 years of Act East, and Brunei happens to be an important component of that, also because it's part of the ASEAN fraternity, and hence independently with Brunei and as part of ASEAN, India has scaled up its engagement with nations in that region. In fact, in 2018, Brunei Sultan was part of the ASEAN delegation, which was chief guest at the Republic Day in that year. And apart from that, it's a small kingdom, just about 500,000 people, less than a million, but about 20-25% strong Indian community there, essentially made up of teachers and medical fraternity, including nurses. And so there is a lot of goodwill, a lot of political capital there for India to harness. And the fact that geography is significant, it's right there at the tip of the South China Sea. And we have seen conflict growing between China and its neighbors, not with Brunei. In fact, even Brunei, some part of its exclusive economic zone is claimed by China because it claims the South China Sea in its entirety. And that's the strategic significance if you would think of Prime Minister there in Brunei, in the Chinese backyard, making first visit. So in a way, it was like we saw just in the last visit, Poland was a neglected territory where an Indian Prime Minister was visiting after 42 years. So in this case, despite having diplomatic relationship, a leader had not visited this country in the last 40 years. Prime Minister, of course, has a busy day ahead. In fact, as of now, it's about 2:30 p.m. Brunei time, 5 p.m. Brunei time, in fact. And he's already there, and he would be given a reception by the Indian community. at the hotel where Prime Minister is put up. That would be about 5:30 p.m. And after that, Prime Minister is going to inaugurate a new Chancery building for the Indian High Commission, essentially a new space for housing the Indian High Commission. And then he would be visiting the Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque, effectively the national mosque of Brunei. And those are going to be important pictures. Whenever Prime Minister has traveled to these Islamic nations, be it UAE, be it Saudi, be it Maldives, he makes sure that he travels to these places of religious significance. So in this case, the Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque, a visit by Prime Minister to the Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque would be an important picture optics-wise, given the fact that India seems to be upgrading its relationship with Brunei Darussalam with this visit of Prime Minister. Received there in these pictures, red carpet welcome, and being received by the Sultan of the Crown Prince, in fact, not Sultan, the Crown Prince of Brunei, Haji Al-Muhtadee Billah. It's a kingdom, and in that sense, not exactly a democracy, but still it follows very liberal practices, and insofar as trade relationship is concerned, it's an oil economy, and even if it's small, there is a lot of exchange between India and Brunei in trade terms also, and we would be looking to upgrade that. As also we have seen Indian naval ships traveling and docking whenever they travel to South China Sea as part of India's larger Indo-Pacific focus. They have docked in Brunei, apart from, of course, other nations in the ASEAN. So, given the ASEAN centrality of South China Sea, I think India is underscoring or sending across a message that Prime Minister, with this visit, is focusing on Act East even more in his third term. This is, remember, his second visit abroad, and the first one, of course, was third visit abroad. In fact, the first one was, of course, to Russia, and then second was to Poland and Ukraine, and now to Brunei. And of course, tomorrow Prime Minister would be traveling onwards to Singapore, where he's again spending a day and reviewing the India-Singapore bilateral relationship as well.
Right. Thank you for that detailed insight, Abhishek. Prime Minister Modi now in Brunei.